Errol Spence Jr. cheated by the Texas ref. In this video, I'm going to explain what I mean. And this was regarding, of course, Errol Spence versus YORDENIS fight. Stay tuned to this video and we're going to get right into it. UGAS hits Errol Spence. It doesn't look anything crazy, but for whatever reason, he stumbles back. And listen to commentators. So the commentators start screaming, Spence is hurt, Spence is hurt. That's why you got to be mindful of the commentary. We're on the outside looking in. And naturally, when a person hears the commentators start to get all loud and jumping out their seats and hysterical, like he's hurt, Spence is hurt, Spence is hurt, then naturally, it's only human nature for people to get involved and be passionate. And the commentators are paid to do a job. Naturally, you're going to think that they know what they're talking about. Seemed like this moment was unexpected. And since the commentators were all of a sudden hysterical and Spence is hurt, screaming that out, then fans are going to believe that too. We don't really know. Like, because the first shot, it looked like Errol Spence was off balance. Maybe he was buzzed, you know, only Errol truly knows how he felt in there. It was the commentators who evoked that panic by saying, oh, Spence is hurt, Spence is hurt. And you watch what Errol Spence does next. I'm really wondering, upon further review, if Errol Spence was as badly hurt as they're saying, or if it was just in the moment, maybe he was slightly hurt, buzzed, and or he wasn't as hurt as they're saying, because I looked at Errol Spence's body language, and either he's just such a dog and his recuperative powers are Wolverine status. Hey, bub, Berserker Barrage, troll power. Like, you know, and he just has this healing process. Or I think the commentators got a little bit too excited when they're like, Spence is hurt, and screaming that. Because watch what Errol Spence Jr. does next. Let's go. Again, Spence is hurt, commotion. Errol Spence ripped a disgusting body shot right after. Yeah. Look at YORDENIS elbows tucked. That body shot hurt. Body language is everything in the sport of boxing. So they're screaming, Spence is hurt, but Spence dug a nasty hook to the body, and it looked like that hurt YORDENIS, but the commentators are focused on Spence being so badly hurt, like as if he's about to get knocked out. And you see the elbows tucked from YORDENIS, who got ripped with a sick body shot from Errol Spence, who's known for his body punches. Then the commentators double back and say, I don't know if he's hurt. And you see Errol Spence loading up to crank that soldier boy. And just landed a nasty left hook to YORDENIS temple. And he gets in a defensively responsible position with the high guard. So again, I understand the commentators sounded excited in the crowd. You know, you're watching on the Jumbotron and Jerry's World, but I'm really questioning how bad it really was, because Errol Spence is being super responsible. And if a guy scrambles you and really rocks you to the point you're separated from your senses. There was a fight recently on Triller with Kubrat Pulev, and he was fighting against Frank Mir. And Kubrat Pulev hit Frank Mir with a shot. He didn't know where he was. It looked like he was dancing. His body like started going on like airplane mode, and it looked really weird. And it was in that particular fight where Frank Mir was stopped, a UFC fighter. But Errol Spence, again, let's say you want to suggest that he was badly hurt, like the commentators and people that I've seen in the comment section. I got to give credit if he was. Again, I can't speak for Errol Spence. If he was truly rocked and separated from his senses, he's just a fighter at heart, because look, he's back in the high guard. He's throwing nasty, vicious body shots, then going upstairs. So clearly he has his wits about him and crazy recuperative power. So everybody's excited. This is where it gets very interesting. YORDENIS from a very low position threw a shot. It was kind of like a cupping shot, and it raked Errol Spence by the ear, cheek, whatever you want to call it. So UGAS finally threw back, hit Errol Spence with this cupping shot that you guys see. Errol Spence didn't have his guard up at that given moment. This particular shot knocked the mouthpiece out of Errol Spence Jr. And it's right here where the ref cheats Errol Spence, and Errol Spence made a grave mistake. Boom, Errol Spence caught lacking. Protect yourself at all times. Victor Ortiz, he learned the hard way from this in his fight with Floyd Mayweather. Errol Spence is completely out of position. YORDENIS, a talented fighter out of Cuba, and Errol Spence is more preoccupied and concerned with his mouthpiece. You can debate how hurt he was or if he was even really hurt. But Boxing 101, protect yourself at all times. Errol Spence did not obey and abide by that age-old rule. You know, this is not a transgression of the rule. Errol Spence didn't follow that. Now, again, I don't know. I can't speak for Errol Spence. I don't know if he was truly rocked, but it didn't look like these shots were so crazy. You also have to keep in mind that Errol Spence was in a vicious car accident. Now, I'm not a doctor or a psychiatrist, but he told you in the interview that he had PTSD. So it's possible, you know, a guy who's been through some type of car trauma and stuff, maybe these two hard shots put him in a weird headspace. I don't really know, but upon further review, it kind of looks like it was overstated now that I re-looked at it the day after. And I know it looks crazy because these are still shots, but you have to understand this is in real time. In real time, it doesn't feel, everything happens very fast, right? And we're going to get to the referee in just a few moments, but everything's happened so fast. Looking at it in slow down, you know, life doesn't happen slow down frame by frame with screen caps. I'm showing you guys the pictures of it and screen caps from within the fight. This all took place in a matter of seconds. So Errol Spence, again, the mistake he made when his mouthpiece was conked out or knocked out or whatever, he continues to be out of position. Ugas is, you know, in the position to fire, and it's protect yourself at all times. But you can already see herein lies the problem that you see in the title with the referee. The referee is not even controlling the action. Like, the guy's mouthpiece just fell out or was knocked out right in front of your face. And the referee has his hand, he's like, ooh, like, you know, as if he's never refereed a fight before, and he's not controlling the action. One fighter's distracted and in a position to get blindsided, and the referee is like feet apart from the fighters, and he's not really controlling and, you know, matadoring the action. So Ugas, being a fighter, and he was taking some hard shots and whatnot, he sees this as an opportunity, which is, again, Errol Spence is bad because you do have to protect yourself at all times. And Errol wasn't ready for that for whatever reason, or was distracted trying to collect his mouthpiece. Bip! YORDENIS, again, he's a fighter. He's in a position to fire. He fires off, blinds Errol Spence Jr. with the jab. Again, the referee doing nothing to control the action. You got one fighter who's clearly made a mistake, mouthpiece clearly hit the canvas and is on the ground, and you got another fighter fighting and still throwing. You know, you got to understand, these are humans. Errol Spence just got veneers because he got wrecked in a car wreck. You know what I mean? There's fights I've seen, like James DeGale when he fought Badu Jack. At the end of the fight, he took his mouthpiece out and his teeth were knocked out. Or Josue Vargas, he fought on a top ranked card, his teeth got knocked out, right? So people make mistakes, humans make mistakes. Errol Spence clearly made a mistake by not protecting himself at all times. And at the end of the day, his mouthpiece was out. Maybe, you know, you can't have those lapses in mental judgment, you know, or it's not good. These things can happen, you know, and you can say it's kind of cheesy or chintzy for YORDENIS to fire, but, you know, he's trained to do that. You got to win the fight by any means. What it means for a guy who defected from Cuba to beat an Errol Spence Jr., he would be a 3-belt champion. So as long as it's within the rules, which it is, if the ref hasn't properly officiated and created this control and controlled environment, Ugas is just going to fire. So, you know, it's nobody's fault, in my opinion, but the ref. And, you know, you can blame Errol Spence for making a mistake and being human, but people aren't trying to get their teeth knocked out in the process either. So, you know, if a guy has some snap, has some thump, and your mouthpiece is on the canvas, then, you know, you might be distracted temporarily. And that's what it looked like here with Errol. Now, this is the part that really pissed me off, because look at the ref. He's screaming during this whole thing. And I will let you guys briefly hear the audio where the referee is saying, stop, stop, stop. And he's like, it's almost like a parent who can't control their kids. You're a referee. Your only job is to really officiate and protect the fighter's safety. I feel in that regard, the referee failed at his job because you didn't properly create a break. You're saying stop, stop, but you're also acting afraid, which you guys will see from the screen caps. And you're acting like you're afraid to, you know, get in charge and get in front of the fighters and stop somebody from punching when there's probably moments where you could have did it. So that's the part that I didn't prefer. And that's why you see the title that you see. And right there, you just heard it. He said, stop. And I just repeated it. He said, stop, 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 stop. But he's not stopping Ugas from punching. This is a blown call by the referee. How are you going to tell him to stop? And like, again, this is Errol Spence's fault as well, which I've already stated throughout this video. You have to protect yourself at all times. But whether Errol was hurt or dazed or distracted or not that hurt, whatever you guys feel, you guys let me know in the comment section. The ref did not do a good job of commandeering the action. I mean, you're saying stop, but then you're acting like you're afraid to get in front of the fighters and break them. And boom, Errol Spence flies into the ropes. And just judging by his face, again, I'm not trying to psychoanalyze the situation, but his face, he still looks like he has his wits about him. So after further review, it looks like he's thinking like, oh, okay, that's how we doing it. That's, you gonna sneak me? Because it's legal, but it's kind of like a sucker punch. But again, I blame the referee. I blame Errol Spence for not protecting yourself at all times. That's a mistake, rookie mistake. He acknowledged that post-fight, to his credit. Errol Spence said that. Rookie mistake. But in real time, it's different than the screenshots that I've provided in this particular video. So it's easier said than done. When you're in the midst of battle, you know, one split second choice or decision that you make could be to your detriment, you know, and we know that's what comes with the territory in any combat sports. So that's kind of what I've seen. But after I watched this again in real time, I was like, oh, Errol's hurt. That's how everybody reacted. But once I rewatched it and I seen what I seen and revealed in this particular video, it didn't look as crazy as it looked in real time. And that's the other beautiful thing about boxing. You know, in real time, a fight can look a certain way, and then you go back, and once the emotions have subsided, it's not necessarily as big as you once made it. So upon further review, looking at the body language of Errol Spence, I'm not really convinced that he was as badly hurt as it seemed like in real time. You know, and it's just a bad officiating job, because on top of everything I mentioned in this video about the referee not properly breaking the two fighters, guys' mouthpiece, as I'm making this video, I just noticed you could see Errol Spence's mouthpiece on the canvas. Boom. So as I've showed you throughout this video, mouthpiece on the canvas, the referee nearly cheated Errol Spence Jr. Did not control the situation. It was almost the perfect storm. Errol Spence, lack of focus, mental lapse for that brief split section, bad refereeing. Because here's the other issue. You didn't properly control the situation with the mouthpiece spilling out. I've already showed you guys that. But if you're going to be a good referee and we're there to do a great job officiating the fight, then the ropes kept Errol Spence Jr. up. So technically that's a 10-8 round, and you should have stopped the action right there. But guess what? The referee didn't do that. So this was all around, if you know the boxing rule set, bad refereeing, because you can see from this picture, the ropes are holding Errol Spence up. Then it's a 10-8 round. So nothing was done in the appropriate fashion from the referee. Either you break the action, let him get his mouthpiece back in, you scored a 10-8 round and break the action. He didn't do either one of those things. So hopefully I've done a good job. Again, upon further review, just looking at Errol Spence's face in this picture and the body language and how he responded, either Errol Spence has the craziest recuperative powers, or he wasn't as badly rocked and hurt as people were saying. It's just a simple mistake made in real time. Those shots right there were all shots that Errol Spence Jr. landed immediately after he fell into the ropes. So bad decision by Errol Spence to not protect himself at all times. He knows better. And very bad refereeing and officiating, where the referee didn't control the action, didn't call the appropriate breaks, told the fighter to stop, and then didn't stop the action, didn't break. And, you know, in real time with the crowd roars and, you know, adrenaline, you can miss these things. And I think that's what it was. I think it was just everything considered. And it was the perfect storm. And UGAS still didn't capitalize on it. And luckily, me recording this video, none of this ultimately mattered to the point where the fight was compromised. Errol Spence got it together, hurt UGAS, I believe, later in that round from some of those shots and body shots. And he definitely hurt him in the following rounds, 7 and 8. That was in round 6. So whether you're on the side of believing that Errol Spence Jr. was badly rocked, badly hurt, or not so badly hurt, like I believe, either way, give the man his flowers, because even if you believe he was badly rocked, he got it together and punished YORDENIS UGAS. So either way, it's the mark of a great fighter and a special person, a special fighter who's willing to dig down deep and take it to that special and dark place when he has to. So let me know in the comment section what you believe. Was Errol Spence as badly hurt now that you've watched this video? Let me know. Errol Spence Jr. cheated by the referee. Bad job. A little bit of a lapse in judgment by Errol Spence. Check out some of the other videos that I have on the channel, like the YORDENIS UGAS True Warrior, but check out the Boxing Ego injury report to find out more about the injuries inflicted by Errol Spence Jr. Drop your comments in the comment section. And in the last 30 days, I looked at my YouTube analytics. 50% of you guys subscribed to my channel in the month of March that watch my content for free on YouTube. The other 50% did not. Let me know what I can do to earn your subscription. Worst case scenario, you can unsubscribe if you don't like the content. But this year, I'm dropping nothing but heat. So make sure you guys subscribe. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe to the next video's Ego Sign out. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation.